Okay, in this video, I'm going to document my home karaoke setup. I thought I could find one on YouTube where somebody had done a karaoke setup using a standard receiver and the accompanying equipment, and I couldn't find one. It could be that there's one and I just couldn't find it. So this is my rough setup. As you'll see, I have them on temporary placement on boxes. I've literally unboxed this and put this together over the last few weeks. So I still need to get them set up with a proper stand and everything else. So forgive the mess. I also have a mess of wiring in the back that I will try to ignore or try to have you ignore for the purpose of this video. But the purpose of the video, to be clear, is just to explain how to do a karaoke setup at home with a standard receiver and accompanying equipment. First thing, let me talk about the equipment I have in the setup. The first is Apple TV because I intended to do this either over the internet or on content, using content on my computer. And the way I have this setup, I have Apple TV connected to a projector, which is connected to which is projection on a wall for now, but you could have Apple TV connected to a TV as normal. So Apple TV is the first thing. The second thing is the receiver. I have an Onkyo. It's not a top of the line one, just a regular Onkyo. I think it's a, can't remember the name, 5X something something NR. I don't remember, but it's a standard Onkyo. I don't think it has special features. I have a digital to analog converter. I'll explain what that does in a moment. I have a Behringer mixer, and then I have a few microphones. I only have one here for now. So what is the setup exactly? So you have to connect your Apple TV as you normally would for those who use Apple TV to either your receiver or your TV directly. In this case, the receiver is critical for mixing the sound. Or for outputting the sound to the speakers. So you have to connect your Apple TV as you would normally with HDMI to some appropriate channel in the back. I'll talk about that in a moment. But the critical thing, and I don't know which version of Apple TV this is that it has to have some kind of an optical audio out or some audio out. Mine has an optical audio out. Like I said, I don't know if all Apple TVs have this. But what that does is, apart from allowing you to take the HDMI out into the receiver and then from the receiver onto the display, whether projector or TV, you can get the audio out because you want to mix the audio with your voice through the microphone. That's the critical thing. So I have this optical cable from the optical out of the Apple TV into this digital to analog converter that I got on the internet. You can see the name here. I got this on Amazon.com. In order to power the digital to analog converter, it comes with a USB cable, and I have a USB output on my receiver here that allows power out. I think it's a 5 volts 1 amp, something like that. Connects to the power in on the digital to analog converter. Now the next cable you need is an RCA, a dual RCA to dual 1/4 inch on the mixer. Let me just show you the mixer specs. I think this is like $130 or $100 mixer on Amazon.com, but I think you can do with probably a simpler setup. I think what you want to watch out for is the number of microphone inputs, which determines how not sophisticated, but how many people you can have singing at the same time. I just needed 2 microphones, so I got with line in 1 and line in 2. So that's what I was solving for. I'm betting there are cheaper mixers you can use for this purpose. But back to the cables. I have a dual RCA, also from Amazon.com, to dual 1/4 inch, which is an analog. and which explains why this is a digital to analog converter. So what I've done is I've taken the audio and put it into the mixer, and then I'm mixing that with the audio coming in from my microphone. This is also a microphone I got on Amazon.com. It wasn't that expensive. I think I got it for under $20. Like I said, mixer is 100, digital analog converter probably under 15 for sure. Receiver, I don't know, like a $300 receiver equivalent. Apple TV these days is under $70, I think. Okay. All right, so back to the connection. So the microphone came with this cable. I would like wireless mics. I haven't figured that out, nor have I looked into it. So you're mixing the microphone signal with your voice, with the music coming out of the Apple TV, and then you're outputting that music back into the receiver. I'll show that a bit more clearly in a moment. But this is another dual quarter inch to RCA. That's what this is. So I bought two of those. Let me show the setup in the back. So where am I going? I'm going into an input in the receiver. I just picked one of them. I picked one labeled gain, which then takes that signal and outputs it to my speakers. In order to make that kind of sync up, I'm also having to plug the Apple TV into the HDMI. I don't think this is very clear. Yeah, into the HDMI channel gain. So that syncs up very well. So these need to be connected to the same named output port or input port in this case, as the case may be with the audio. So it's game and game. The final thing to do to set this up is you need to do some kind of setup with your receiver. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. You have to go to setup. Yeah, I'm not sure I can find it now. I'll probably do a different video just describing how that's done. But the bottom line is you have to go and select audio, and with audio within the game channel, you have to select analog. Otherwise, it won't recognize that you are using an analog signal, because an analog signal is what comes out of the mixer. Now, there may be a setup here. I know there's some digital RCAs here. So there may be a setup where you can use that. I just don't think from an output perspective, you can output anything other than the analog signal from the mixer that I have, but that may be very well possible. So let me try and play something so you see how it works. AirPlay mirror. Select the Apple TV. So you can see this is Justin Bieber, Sorry, without the lyrics. I'm not going to attempt to sing, but I'll see if I can get my voice through the microphone at least. Here we go. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello. Can you hear my voice coming through? Let me show you some of the setup. I'm going to pause the music. Hello, hello, karaoke setup, karaoke setup. So you can see this lighting up when I was speaking. There may be a quick snapshot of what my settings look like. I had a friend, my brother actually, who is a sound guy, come look at the setup, see if it makes sense. I feel I know very little about audio, and I think this mixer is too sophisticated for this use, to be honest. So I don't know what all these knobs are, but I had somebody come look at it. The main thing is you just want to get the audio level out. This is the music coming from the Apple TV. This is the music coming from the microphone. Depending on the sound, you kind of need to level off so that you can hear both at the appropriate levels. There's also something called a gain, which gives you the loudness coming from your voice through the microphone. So that's important as well. So these are the two channels, channel 1 and channel 5 and 6 that I'm using for now. But I've added a second microphone occasionally during testing to see how it works. Maybe one more thing. There's a way to adjust the sound level of the music coming out of the receiver, because your receiver has its own internal settings, so you can change the decibels coming out. That may be another video. I'm not sure I remember how to access those settings right now, but that's pretty much the basics of a karaoke setup at the house. Final point, I have speakers here. They're Bowers & Wilkins 685 S2. I spoke to somebody who said powered speakers may be better, but if you're trying to do a simple home setup, I don't know how easy it is, to put all that together, or how pricey it may be. All right, thanks. That's it. Enjoy your home karaoke setup.